Hello? Hello? Okay. Am I off? Okay. Okay. The clicker. Good morning. Morning. How is everybody? Yeah, we're here in Orlando, and look at all these amazing SATB2 families that are with us. After 4 years, it's been 4 years since our last gathering, so as I'm having a moment here standing up looking at you guys. I am just so excited that we're all here, that we're live streaming. We have people joining us from all over the world. We have families that have traveled all over the United States. We have families that have traveled internationally to join us. So welcome, and welcome to everybody that's joining us virtually. My name is Allison Kaczenski. I am the founder of the SATB2 Gene Foundation, and I am a parent just like you. I am the mom to Caitlin, over here in the middle, in addition to the mom of my son, Caden, and the wife of Matt. I want to play a little game to get us started, get a little icebreaker here going. So virtual, you can join in too with us via the chat function. So if this is your first SATB2 conference, please stand up. Look at this. Welcome. All right, so if you're able to attend one of our first 2 conferences that we held at Arkansas Children's Hospital, please stand up. Look at this. So many new faces, so many returning faces, so great. All right. If you are a sibling of a SAS kid, please stand up. Let us see you. If you are a grandparent of a SATB2 kid, let us see you. All right, look at that. If you're an aunt, uncle, cousin, any other extended family, close friend, please stand up, let us see you. And of course, to all of our medical advisors that are here, please let us see you as well. I know we've got a few, there we are. And last, if you are one of our SATB2 board members, Gene Foundation board members, please stand up. So this team that you just saw in purple polos, they are all parents just like you as well. So if you have questions or need anything during the entire duration of our conference, please make sure you see any one of them. So it's exciting to see how many people are here, what we have coming forward over the next 2 days. We hope that you all walk away equipped with more knowledge, more confidence in how to advocate and how to support your SAS loved ones, and as equally important that you walk away with new friends, new family, and knowing that you are not alone on this journey. The next 2 days will be filled with information from experts that range on the topics from estate planning, apraxia, AAC use, adult living options, IEPs, sibling support, to presentations from our expert clinicians and researchers about bone health, speech and language, growth, severity scores, dental behaviors, and research updates. 2 exciting features that we were able to add in this year is our SIB shop, so that our SAS siblings can have time to gather and interact with each other, and roundtables. Each day we'll have a variety of topics that will allow you to have small group discussions with other families on more topics that are important to you. But if you'll take a few minutes, I'd like to entertain you and tell you a little bit more about me and my family. Oh, sorry. So there's our agenda. Everybody has that in your folders as well. So our journey, as I mentioned, I'm a SATB2 mom, just like all of you. So Caitlin was born in June of 2014. She went straight to the NICU due to having fluid in her lungs, when her cleft palate was discovered within the first few hours. We spent the first 2 weeks of her life in NICU at our local hospital in Atlanta. So at day 8, we received her SATB2 diagnosis. I know that's not the normal journey to be able to receive it that early, and we were fortunate. But at that time, 8 years ago, we were handed one case study and told she was one of 20 in the entire world. There was no support group. There was no Dr. Zarate. There was nothing out there for us, and we kind of just floated. We focused on her feeding issues. We focused on her cleft palate. We just focused on getting her the care and coordination of doctors that we needed, much like all of you guys are doing still. So the shock, took in. There was a lot of shock. There was a lot of, there just wasn't anything out there. And we knew that there had to be more families. We knew that we had to be able to get better care for our kids. And we knew that we had to be able to get our doctors to talk and to listen to us. So after 2 years, we finally found a support group. We are followed by Emory Genetics, where they contacted us and told us about Dr. Zarate and his clinical registry and research study and asked if we wanted to participate. From that, I did some Google searching, found the closed Facebook page. There were, I think, 40 of us in there at the time, and then life changed. I remember joining that around the same time some of you guys joined with us as well, and just being able to post pictures, ask questions, and just see the similarities of our kids really just changed my life. It really just changed the outlook of what we were going to be able to do. As I mentioned, at that time, when she was 2, there was about 50 of us. We now have over 700 families represented globally. So again, life just started to change for us. So this is us now. Caitlin is 8 years old. She can walk independently. Many of you remember her from previous conferences, still using her walker. She no longer has a G-tube. We have graduated from that, and she can eat. She can out-eat her big brother. So I always say that she's making up for all those years where she was tube-fed. And then she also communicates using gestures, facial expressions, and also with her AAC device that we call her talker. She will love to tell you that she wants to play with her baby doll or eat a Rice Krispie treat. So yes, I travel with Rice Krispie treats in my bag and my purse all the time. So we're continuing to see her improvement. We're continuing to see her grow. We're continuing to just see what she's able to do. There are no limits, and she surprises us every day, and we're just here to cheer her on. So she's taught our family a lot. She's taught us patience. She's taught us to celebrate inchstones. She's taught us to enjoy life. Big brother Caden adores her to the moon and back and is always the first one to be there to help her. They have their own little secret language, and I promise you, he knows exactly what it is that she needs or wants to take care of it in a flash. And I can't leave out my husband, Matt, who supports us daily and helps us to navigate this crazy maze with strength and a level head, and to support me in doing the SATB2 Gene Foundation. So thank you. So I could go on, just like any of one of us, about our kids. There's so much to the start of our journey. I assure you that myself and all the other members in this room and those that are joining us virtually all understand the journey that we're each on and that we're here to support you. While I wouldn't change her for the world, I will change the world for her, our SAS motto that we use to guide us daily. So now let's talk a little bit about the SATB2 Gene Foundation. Where have we been as a foundation? Where are we going? So our mission, the mission of the SATB2 Gene Foundation is to enrich the lives of individuals with SATB2 associated syndrome, including those diagnosed with the condition and their families, through support, research, and education. Our mission will be met by raising awareness about the characteristics of SATB2 associated syndrome, providing support to families, and supporting research on a wide range of issues related to SATB2 associated syndrome. We started to lay the groundwork in late 2017 and officially launched in January of 2018. We received our official 501c3 charity status in July of 2018, literally a week after our last conference. We hosted our first two conferences in 2017 and 2018 with the help of Arkansas Children's Hospital on the beautiful campus in Little Rock, Arkansas. Our last strategic plan outlined activities for 2019 through 2021. Who knew that we would have a pandemic would emerge in the middle of our plans? Even so, the SATB2 Gene Foundation has accomplished many of the goals that we set out, and that we want to highlight those right now. So what do we have accomplished already in our mission? So family support. We've produced a vast array of educational webinars, provided $10,000 in COVID relief grants, supported 19 families last year with over $20,000 in family assistance program grants. We provide travel grants to families that are attending the multidisciplinary clinic at Arkansas Children's Hospital quarterly, and we continue to foster the connection of families through social networks and virtual meetups and support groups. Awareness. We launched our official Awareness Day, which is on August 22nd, in honor of the birthday of our lead researcher, Dr. Yuri Zarate. We have the creation and dissemination of informational brochures in multiple languages for patient advocacy and caregiver education. Under research, we have awarded over $106,000 to 6 research grants, the funding and creation of 8 stem cell lines to help advance our knowledge, our research and knowledge bank, and the establishment of the Medical and Scientific Advisory Board, and forging new relationships continually with more clinicians and researchers. Over the last 24 months, we have added 7 new board members that you see here in the room with us today. We continue to grow our SAS community by identifying more families, connecting internationally with our SAS charity partners. As you see here on the screen, we have an amazing group of international charity partners. We have Australia, Europe, France, Italy, Netherlands and Belgium, Spain, and the UK. And we all collectively work together to continue to make sure that we're supporting our families, we're growing our networks, and we're growing, connecting with more researchers. So this slide is a little bit outdated, but you wanted to show you the gist of it. So we are now over about 700 families. We are all spread out across the world that we have connected with. And like I said, 8 years ago, I was told there was 20. 6 years ago, when I joined the Facebook group, there were 50 of us, and now we represent over 700 families. And so the more that we're out there, the more that we're connecting with families, the more that we're educating these researchers and these clinicians about the characteristics of SATB2, these clinicians and researchers are able to say, let's test you for SATB2, and we're finding more and more families. We're finding families that are later on in their journey. We're finding families that are brand new to their journey with the small kids, so it's amazing to see the intersection of our community and how much we've grown. So now, where are we going? So we as the board have spent the last 6 months working with a consultant to really identify how are we going to grow the SATB2 Gene Foundation. So we're celebrating our 5th birthday this year. We've been working hard to develop the next 3 to 5 year strategic plan. So our vision is to build a community of partners that navigates the path of disease diagnosis, treatment, and management so that individuals and their families achieve the highest quality care and the highest quality of life. That's a lot. We have lofty goals, and we're going to do it. So our vision, we're going to do this by raising awareness about the characteristics of SATB2, providing supports to families, and supporting research, again, in a wide range of issues related to SATB2. So our SATB2 families are the core of all of our programs. Over the next 3 years, we will continue to offer and enhance our current family support programs, like the travel grants to the SAS multidisciplinary clinics, the family assistance program, this biannual conference, and virtual meetups for families and our regional representative program. So additionally, we will identify and address the needs of families and SAS patients of all ages, offering programs and supports for families at any stage of their child's life and their disease discovery. We will be launching a regional ambassador program to better respond to and engage with families around the United States. For research, in 2021, we partnered with Odelia Therapeutics to do an independent analysis of the landscape of SAS research and a gap analysis. Through this, we will continue to focus on supporting research in 3 fundamental areas, as outlined in our research strategic plan that we developed based on our partnership with Odelia. These 3 areas of focus are clinical foundations, therapeutic and supportive care, and general research tools. Under awareness and education, we will continue to raise awareness of SAS in general, especially among the medical and scientific community, continues to be of our utmost importance. The greater the knowledge and awareness of SAS in medical communities, the more patients will be able to receive the proper diagnosis and care at earlier ages. We will do this by creating and disseminating more symptom-specific information sheets, educational webinars and videos, networking and collaborating with professional medical organizations to further educate clinicians and researchers, and of course our annual Awareness Day on August 22nd. All the money that we raise through our Awareness Day efforts goes back to fund our research initiatives directly. So in addition to our programs, which are obviously pivotal to our organization, we will also be working on organizational infrastructure and sustainability. So as the SATB2 Gene Foundation continues to grow and we continue to serve more families, we must also expand our organizational infrastructure to maintain our services and programs. We will become an organization with professional staff, a pool of volunteers to increase and expand family, patient, and research programming, to enhance clinical and social outcomes for patients and caregivers. Our organization, with a clear trajectory and defined authority to exercise our duties of care and loyalty of our assets, including financial, intellectual, and human resources through staff and volunteerism. So we have big goals to fill, and we look forward to continuing to the continued growth of our organization and community. There are many different ways to become involved as volunteers with the foundation, no matter how much time you have, whether it's just one project or you have a lot of time getting involved on committees. We certainly need all hands on deck. It takes a village, and we're thankful for each of you. For each of you being with us here this week, for each of you supporting us, and for each of you raising amazing families. If you would like to know more about how to get involved, you can talk to any one of our board members about the areas which you'd like to participate, and learn more about that in our session tomorrow morning. I know that was a lot of information, and there's many exciting programs occurring for our community, and I'm thrilled to continue to see the growth of our family. As I mentioned earlier, So as I mentioned earlier, I want to take a few minutes to introduce you to our SATB2 Gene Foundation Board of Directors. Many of them are here with us today, so I'm going to call, I don't think I told them, I'm going to call on y'all to actually stand up so everybody can see you. So Ms. Casey Edwards is back there, is our fearless Vice President. David Bright, right here. Nikki Johnson. And we have Maya Briggs, who was not able to be with us today. That core group right there is working to lead our research side of our organization. We have Jenna Garwood. Jenna is right over there. Jenna is leading our family support efforts. Julie Hamburg, right here, right over here, working on us with communications. Heather Green, who is not here, she's our only board member who is not a SATB2 parent, but she is working with us on fundraising and strategic planning and growing. Bill Regan, right over here. I want to take a moment here. And I want everybody to give this man a round of applause. So Bill has been my co-chair here on All Things Conference. I'm sure that you have all heard from him at some point about questions about registrations or childcare or SIB shops. So he has been an amazing logistics coordinator for us. He's been working hard behind the scenes on our assistance programs and many other programs to make sure that everything is moving. So again, this team is amazing, and I wouldn't be here without them here to support us. So I'm actually going to pass over to Dr. Sanchez. This is Dr. Sanchez. He's going to take a few minutes to talk to you about the 3D facial study. When we finish that, we will have Bill come up to talk about just some housekeeping notes. Thank you.
Thank you, Allison. It's been great to actually see so much growth and progress. I'm here partially as a physician, as a geneticist, similar to Dr. Zarate. I'm here as a student, here to learn about SATB2 and your story. And I'm also here to do research. So I'm going to show you a couple quick slides and tell you about the projects that we're working on. So as a pediatrician and geneticist, as you know, if we get an earlier diagnosis, hopefully we could connect families to organizations like this, so that we could network, we could learn from each other, so we could get better therapies and hopefully better outcomes. I've gone through different family conferences and truly have grown so much as a physician, learning how foundations are made, how they start with 5 people, 10 people, and then have grown as big as, this is one of the bigger ones that I've seen. And I've been going to these conferences to take these 3D pictures. We're doing machine learning, meaning with a picture, you could actually do facial recognition. And most of you have already had your molecular testing and confirmation, and that's how you got in this room. But some people can't afford some of those tests. And we all can recognize our cousins, our parents, and so computers are starting to be able to be trained to recognize different conditions. And so you could see this table is just different conferences I've been at. And some conferences are very small and everybody participates, and some conferences are huge and everybody's just having a good time in the pool, doesn't come around to take a quick picture. I've gone with my family, we go to the zoo, we set up the camera, take a couple pictures. It's not a big investment, but I get to meet some great parents. And I think this is just a pleasure just to be here with you guys. There's a big team of researchers outside of what I do. What I do is take the picture and collaborate with many other people who know how to process this data. This project is part of this National Institute of Health study called the Face Space, and they're trying to pair animal research, human research to learn about development. There are 3 aims, mainly to build a 3D library of facial scans. They're just fancy pictures. Hopefully, make a tool to separate out each group. Hopefully we could actually get your diagnosis and then pair that with some of the data we get from the pictures and then automate that. So one day we would take a picture and a computer will just say, you might have this, or it's not likely. Some people have a genetic test and us as providers, we're not convinced that you have that condition. And so we would probably use this type of technology to remove a diagnosis for some of those people who are wondering if they have the SATB2. We do fancy measurements, and ultimately we do a heat map, and you could see the differences in everybody's, the subtleties and facial differences. And so we could separate out each condition based on just subtle measurements on the camera. Each condition, some of them are easy to recognize, so we don't need very many pictures. Some of them are so subtle, so the more people who participate, the better. We probably need at least 20 pictures to train the system. If we only get 10 this year and 10 next year, that's okay too. And then this is just one way of how we do an analysis. We take one measurement and say, well, what do these conditions have in common, and where are they different? And so we could easily separate out conditions like Down syndrome, which most people in this room can also recognize. But then we also can pair relationships with what condition looks similar to other conditions, and then on the back end learn about research about how these genes interact, and just learn about more biology. Us as geneticists, we do our best to recognize them, recognize conditions and do certain measurements, but we're learning that some of the computer-based analysis are doing better than clinicians. So I'll be around the corner. What's involved is just signing a consent, fill out just a demographic form about height, weight, and head circumference. I have tape measures if you don't know that. And then what's involved in the consent form, it's basically data sharing. Can we take a picture? Can we keep it in a database for research? And then we have an umbrella organization through the NIH that reviews researchers. Can people apply to actually do studies to learn about different scans? And then, this is not publicly accessible. These pictures are not going to be on the web. It really goes through this official research committee that people have to go through many hoops to get access to it, and then they have to tell us what they're doing. So this is an example of the picture and the type of data we get. It's about 200,000 data points, and that's my cell number. And we won't have a sign-up sheet. Basically, I want you to attend the whole conference. Between breaks, you could come and take a consent. And then after you consent, between breaks, you could bring your child over. We'll take a picture. It probably takes about 5 minutes to do the consent and 3 or 4 minutes to take the picture. It's just a couple snapshots. I probably won't take anybody in the back until your noon break, just so that you can focus on your conference. And I look forward to meeting you.
I have to stand on the other side. All right, so I know that there were a couple of questions, so I'm going to go ahead and throw them to you real quick. So Dr. Sanchez is literally right around this corner, so you come back around. It's the executive boardroom. So do they need to make an appointment with you?
No appointment needed. Yep.
And then approximately, I think you cover this, but approximately how long does it take?
It should be less than 10 minutes.
Okay.
And if your kid isn't able to cooperate, we'll take a couple. And if they're just tired, come back later. I'm very patient. I'll take a couple and then we'll look at them.
And are you here today and tomorrow?
I'll be here only for this, so I'll be here as long as I have that room. If you could put up my slide of my cell number one more time, you could just call me and I'll come down. As an aside, I'm also a parent of a child who has a genetic issue. My son has hemophilia. I'm also on their foundation and their board. And so I love the organization you guys have and all the effort you're doing. So I'd love to chat with you just as a parent as well.
Great. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Great. Thank you.
So Bill Regan's going to come and join us. We're going to go, he's going to share just a couple housekeeping questions, and then we'll have a break before our next presentation.
Thank you, Allison. Where are you, Allison? Let's give a round of applause for Allison for everything. She is a tireless worker, and I'm just really happy to be able to ride on her coattails to take care of things for her. I don't know anybody that works as hard as she does. Just wanted to recap a few things. You may be wondering who's here today. We have over 40 families that registered for the program in person. We have probably another 30 groups, individuals, families who have registered to attend virtually. And Allison also distributed up to 100 invitations, I believe, to the international community leadership category to attend virtually. So welcome to everybody. If there's one silver lining to the COVID experience, it's the fact that we can open these type of in-person events to the broader community. So I think this is here to stay. I want to thank the staff here at the hotel, AV Media, for helping us navigate this sometimes difficult terrain of presenting virtually. They've done an outstanding job getting us ready. Hopefully everything is going well. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Jen. It's been terrific working with you. One other point, we have over 30 SAS kids here today. You may be wondering, am I a grandfather of a SAS kid? You know, this old guy up here with the white hair. Actually, I'm a dad. My daughter Lindsay and my wife Terry are sitting at the table. Lindsay, can you stand up? Linz, stand up. Stand up. She's the oldest SAS kiddo here today. She turned 33 on Flag Day. We were at the 2018 program. And Noah's at our table too. He's 25. So we got our old guys over here. Our journey is nothing like Allison's. I think she said she got her diagnosis for Caitlin at 8 days old. We had undergone genetic testing, periodically through Lindsay's early years. Nothing came back. We decided to go back to have some genetic testing. Given that Lindsay has a couple sisters, we wanted to be sure we weren't carrying some type of recessive gene that may be passing along, a genetic syndrome like SATB2. And what pops up in 2017, 2018 is SATB2. And we were able to join the 2018 conference, and it's been a very welcome experience being part of this community. And I love the noise. Don't worry about kids making noise. It's something we're all used to, and I hope everybody's comfortable. I love it. I love it. Couple notes. In the afternoon, as you know, we have childcare. It's going to be directly across the hall. There is no problem as it relates to Dr. Mendez's 3D facial recognition to check your child out, to take him or her down for an appointment. So I do hope everybody can participate in that study. I think it is very exciting to hear what Dr. Mendez and his colleagues are doing. As it relates to the schedule, you all have an agenda in your handout or your backpack. Please note that at 10 o'clock you're going to have to make a choice already about what room you want to be in. So please take note of that. You're either going to be here in this room for a program on the 7 simple strategies for sibling support, or you'll want to move across the hall for some tabletop discussion groups that are taking place with some of our leadership individuals. So be conscious of that. You can take a look at that if you haven't already. Today and tomorrow at 10 o'clock, there are these discussion groups. I'm sorry, at 11 o'clock. Tomorrow, there's an added discussion topic of behavior. So you may want to make a note of that for tomorrow's concurrent session in the Siesta Ballroom. Behavior, add that to adult parent support group and new to diagnosis support group. I mentioned childcare. I don't know if you had a chance to see the room. It's directly across the hall. We think we have tapped into a very special group of childcare providers, super sitters. They have such an array of activities. I think our kids are going to be very well taken care of. And I hope you all who have signed up for that enjoy that experience. Later today, at the end of the day, we're scheduled to have a photo shoot. You saw the photo earlier of our program in 2018. We're ideally going to be taking this outside. Whitney Norco will be our photographer. Ideally, she'll be up on a lift, and there's a nice plaza out there they call the Paradise Key. We'll line up. The child care providers will assist in getting our kids out there. What's very important, however, is that you have to sign your kid out of childcare just to protect everybody's interests in terms of handing off. So we'll take this in a very relaxed manner to be sure that we're not rushing anything and that no kid gets left behind. And it's just very important that you sign your child out officially. That's Teach One. Teach One, say hello to everybody. Teach One and his family came from Paris, or from is it Paris? Yes. So big shout out to our French family. They had their travails getting the right kind of documentation and permitting, and really appreciate your efforts in getting here. It's wonderful to have you. You may have noted that you have been provided an opportunity to collect a virtual ticket to the proceedings today. You were sent an email courtesy of Allison on June 28th. If you haven't opened your virtual ticket, you'll want to do that by the end of the day tomorrow. Again, if you need to find it, search on Zoom. If that doesn't work, maybe look at your mailbox for, again, June 28th. This will allow you to either, if you have to step away, you can attend virtually, or perhaps more importantly, when you get home and you want to review what Dr. Sanchez said or what Allison said, you can look at the recordings of our sessions over the next couple days for a further review. Oh, let's see here. Just want to be sure I'm covering things. I guess last what I'd like to do is do a little sponsor recognition. There it is, right up here. We have 3 different levels of sponsors, and at the top of the board is PEC, Planners and Engineers Collaborative. Matt Kaczenski, where are you, Matt? Stand up. Matt is a partner with that group, and they have been very generous with supporting. Matt was telling me that his partners all support one another in their individual endeavors, and sounds like a great place to work, Matt, and you're doing good things. And of course, on a personal level, Matt and Allison have also stepped up to become champion sponsors. So on a personal level, thank you very much for supporting this program. It's really, really tremendous. We also have the Croft family as a leader sponsor. Nancy Croft was scheduled to be here. Unfortunately, due to a family situation, she was not able to attend, but we do thank the Croft family for that. And at the Friends category, we have Data Prize. I don't know, Allison, do we have any representatives from?
Not. It's the Barnhart family, and they're helping to support our virtual IT side.
The Barnhart family supporting our IT side? Yes. Well, thank you to them. And Allison, are there any other areas to cover?
Door prizes.
Door prizes, that's right. All the adults in the room have been given a couple of tickets, red tickets, I believe. And Allison will be calling numbers, winning numbers tomorrow at some point to collect prizes that are on the back wall. We're also selling some towels, SATB2 towels. Anything else? No. Okay, well, let me have Allison come back up and just send us on a break, or should we just come on up?
I know that was a lot of information, so we still have a little bit of extra time. I have a countdown clock down here, so I know when I have to get off the stage. Are there any questions? We can turn on the Q&A microphone if there are any questions. Heather, you have to come up here. Or you can try to say it and I'll repeat it.
Just one question, Whitney and Allison, do you think when we do the photo, would there be an opportunity to do one just with our SAS kids alone without the whole big group? If any parents are interested in doing that?
Whitney.
Photo, our kids kind of get lost in it. As a parent, your kids is attendance.
We can try, or maybe we could try it indoors too. So we'll try to that over the next at some point for sure. So, and we have the backdrops here. Make sure you tag us on social media. Hashtag SATB2, SATB2 conference. So.
I have a question about one of the slides you put up, and I saw the.
Me, mine.
Well, in the beginning, when you were
Okay.
talking about folks across the world.
Oh, yeah.
You saw the percentages in the United States and Europe. I wondered, that's almost.
We are almost 50-50 between North America and Europe now.
Is that just because more genetic testing in those places, or you know why that is?
I do definitely think that it has a lot to do with access to testing. And when you look at that map, you'll see definitely different countries where there are large gaps. And it's just, it's getting the access to care, or there may be more families and we don't know them yet. But yes, it is very interesting when you look at that, so.
I have a microphone. If anybody else has a question, I can come over to you. Of course, I turn it on for no reason then.
Anybody else? Well, we are a few minutes ahead of schedule, so I'm going to give everybody a break. At 10 o'clock, we are coming back. As Bill mentioned, you have two choices. So in here, we have Emily Hall with the Sibling Support Project, who will also be leading our SIB shop this afternoon. So at 10 o'clock, she'll be talking about 7 simple strategies for sibling support. Also at 10 a.m. in the Siesta Ballroom right across from us, one of our wonderful SATB2 moms, Amy Van Loo, will be running a session successfully navigating the IEP process. So you have your choice to go into either, come and go as you want, and we will see you again at 10. Thank you.